Hello everyone, a very logical day to all of you. So the 2nd of September, so the second editorial. Here we have of the Indian Express. Let us see what many and not one. Many and not one. You can relate it to anything as such. Let us see what we are talking about here. On Thursday, the government announced a special session of Parliament. Its agenda undeclared, unknown. Okay, तभी author परेशान है. Special session, undeclared, unknown agenda. And on Friday, it set up a committee under a former president of India to examine the proposal of one nation, one election. A few months back, maybe a year or so back, this was the talk of the town. ये तो one election, one nation, मतलब सारे elections एक साथ होने चाहिए. ये था long discussed and still controversial. The two events may or may not be टाइड टुगेदर. तो मतलब ऑथर इसमें से समझने की कोशिश कर रहा है. हो सकता है ये दो इंडिविजुअल इवेंट्स हो, पॉसिबिलिटी हो सकता है ये दोनों इवेंट्स कनेक्टेड हो. It may or may not be that the proposal to hold elections to the Lok Sabha and state assemblies simultaneously will come up in the special session of parliament held from September 18 to 22. 5 दिन 4 दिन मिलेंगे. 5 दिन. And what are they going to discuss? Something so important as one election. Oh, but both the sudden revival of a consequential and contentious political idea. ये जो था contentious क्यों? क्योंकि इतना discussion हुआ है, long discussion done. Under the stewardship of an individual who occupied the nation's highest non-political office and the contrived uncertainty surrounding द स्पेशल सेशन. दोनों चीजें आपस में लिंक्ड हैं या नहीं है, ऑथर यही सोचते जा रहे हैं. रेज इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस. गवर्नमेंट्स बिग मूव्स नीड टू गो. अब ऑथर अपनी बात बोल रहे हैं कि अगर इतनी बड़ी बातें होती हैं, गवर्नमेंट को जितने डिसीजंस लेते हैं, सो दे नीड टू गो थ्रू द पेसेस ऑफ अ डेलिबरेटिव डेमोक्रेसी. डेलिबरेटिव यानी सोच समझ के करना चाहिए. उस पेस, उस स्पीड से चलना चाहिए, एकदम से झटके वाला नहीं होना चाहिए. सबमिट टू द चेक्स एंड बैलेंसेस ऑफ अ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल सिस्टम. राइट, तो वो डेमोक्रेसी के हिसाब से होना चाहिए. चेक्स एंड बैलेंसेस, चेक इज टू स्टॉप. राइट, तो जहां कहीं डिस्कशन की जरूरत है वहां होनी चाहिए, जहां कहीं कुछ बैलेंस की जरूरत है वो होना चाहिए. इट इज नॉट जस्ट लाइक एन अथॉरिटेरियन सॉर्ट. एट द वेरी लीस्ट दे नीड टू प्ले आउट more transparently. The people should know, the country should know what is going on in their minds. वो transparency होनी चाहिए. Big policy and political moves should not be scripted like cloak and dagger drama or take the form of an ambush. Ambush यानी चुपके से, you know all this military tactics होते हैं. जब ambush word आता है, Naxalites का कोई आर्टिकल होता है तो ambush आता है. Ambush यानी बिल्कुल झाड़ियों में छिपके और फिर वार करना, वो होता है. कभी एनवायरमेंट वाली बात आती है, टाइगर्स और इनकी, तो भी वो एम्बुश होता है, शिकार करना चुपके से. दैट इज अ सिंपल मीनिंग. According to the author, this part of the paragraph is giving you what the author thinks and what the government should do in such matters of importance or contentious issues. Right? इस तरीके से author, according to the author, this is what the government should do, and according to the author, this is what the government is doing, and in between the assumptions of the author. Now, the idea of simultaneous elections points to a real problem, but the solution it offers is dissonant in a parliamentary system with a federal framework. Federal framework we have done often with the center and the state. That is decentralization of power. वो हो जाता है federal framework. ऐसे फ्रेमवर्क में वन इलेक्शन वाला जो आइडिया है वो नहीं चलेगा. डिसोनेंट है, मतलब डिसएग्रीमेंट है. It promises or threatens to give it a more presidential and unitary character. Right? Presidential sort जो अमेरिका में चलता है वैसा character बन जाएगा. Otherwise, so it will not be as it is right now. Admittedly, the relentless election calendar in this country is taking a toll. Admittedly, this is one thing that the author agrees to, कि election calendar जो है वो कहीं ना कहीं every 8 months, 9 months, 1 year, somewhere or the other, the elections are going on. So it is taking a toll. Taking a toll, I had just discussed a few days back only, I think so, in the previous week. The heat is taking a toll. I gave the example also. Toll tax, I gave an example. The toll method, it is taking something away from you. An election is always round the corner and with expenditure caps freely given. The go by and campaign finance draped in secrecy, it means higher sums of money and other resources spent. इतना तो ये बात तो ऑथर एडमिट कर लेता है कि हाँ खर्चा बहुत होता है. ठीक है. It also means after the model code of conduct kicks in, a pause, if not a paralysis of the governance. A code of conduct का मतलब क्या होता है? जिसे हिंदी में आचार संहिता बोलते हैं. ठीक है कि आचार संहिता लग गई है, इसका मतलब नाउ द पीपल हैव टू बी वेरी कॉशियस ऑफ what they are doing or what they are saying or where they are going, right? So if this comes in, so there is a paralysis of governance. तो गवर्नमेंट काम रुक जाता है. अभी हम नहीं करेंगे, पता नहीं हम आएंगे इलेक्शन में जीतेंगे या नहीं जीतेंगे या दूसरी पार्टी आएगी. So this work will not be done. So there is a stop like that. So parties and governments with one eye on the impending election given to the seductions of policies, populist moves and shirk long-term policy. Populist moves मतलब जो population को पसंद आएगी सिर्फ उसी पे काम करेंगे. लॉन्ग टर्म पॉलिसीज पे काम नहीं करता है बिकॉज देन दे से हमें नहीं पता है कि कौन जीतेगा. Right? So they do not even think about it. They don't plan anything. This is what he's saying. So all this is going on in the years to come. Every few months there's an election somewhere or the other, and then this happens. But making elections simultaneous will, for one, impose an artificial fixity on the terms of legislatures in states, and at the center, at odds with a system that, given its staggering diversity, must remain responsive and accountable. ठीक है. सो लेजिस्लेचर्स को क्या मिलेगा? फिक्सिटी, आर्टिफिशियल फिक्सिटी की ये फिक्स हो गए. अब इलेक्शन कब होगा? अगली बार जब सब जगह पूरे इंडिया में इलेक्शन होगा तो. राइट. सो देन दिस विल बी लाइक ओके फाइन, वी आर nowhere to go, we'll do what we want. It will also raise questions like this one. What happens if, after simultaneous polls, a 5-year term in an assembly is interrupted by political realignment? ठीक है. पहले जैसे कई सारे इसमें states में ऐसे हुआ कि initially it was a Congress and then there was a realignment, a shifting there, and then the BJP came, or it was a BJP realignment and then new coalition, and then another party came. So what in these cases? That's a big question here. What happens if? So the author is only trying to make us understand that way. Then, simultaneous elections are likely to help the dominant national party, an incumbent at the center, and disadvantage the regional issue and player. यही बात है कि अगर हम एक बार आ गए dominant party बन के तो फिर हम ही हमें, whichever party it is, right? They could flatten the diversity of format and politics that marks India's federal polity ever since the 60s, when the synchronicity of election calendar was first broken, along with the appearance of the first dents in the Congress-led one-party dominant system. Right? This is what can happen. Now, the Narendra Modi government is reviving an idea that has been taken up at various times by a parliamentary standing committee, the law commission, the election commission. इन तीनों ने ये इस आइडिया को पर फोकस किया है. And yet, it must also address concerns about the proposal being part of its larger project to bring homogeneity in a diverse country. Right? It must also address concerns here. One nation, one election, one civil code, one party, one leader. ये देखो ऑथर ने धीरे धीरे आगे बढ़ा दिया. In a country where elections bring valuable moments of reckoning for the rulers and much needed opportunities of assertion by the ruled, why should they be shirked? Shirking away the responsibility is doing away with. All eyes and ears are now on the panel to see how it goes about addressing these and many other concerns. ये जो पैनल है किस तरीके से इन कंसर्न्स को एड्रेस करती है, दैट इज व्हाट रिमेन्स टू बी सीन. Given how elections have an almost talismanic power in the nation's democracy, the stakes couldn't be higher. मतलब इससे ज्यादा दांव पे क्या लगा है, राइट? इससे ज्यादा दांव पे क्या लगा है? द स्टेक्स couldn't be higher, राइट? इसका मतलब बहुत कुछ दांव पे लगा है. तो लेट अस सी नाउ द मेन आइडिया. स्टेल्थ यानी चोरी चुपके से करना. यू हैव द वर्ड स्टील विदाउट in anybody's knowledge. If something is done, that is called steal. So stealth is no way to usher in, to bring in disruptive change. Disruptive is something that disturbs. Rupt as a root word would mean break, right? तो disruptive जैसे interrupt होता है बीच में break करना ना, और कुछ बोलना, that is interruption. So disruptive is something that is disturbing you. Panel on one nation, one election needs to work in full public glare. That means transparency. Transparency होनी चाहिए, transparent होना चाहिए. इनका जो भी काम है, that should be transparent, right? Now, something new, as I had said. So, maybe once or twice in a week, I'll be asking you a few questions, not every day. ठीक है? On the 1st of September वाला जो था, this editorial explanation, I asked you one thing to start, that was pick out the simple words and come up with better words for it. So at least start doing that. This 2nd September, I'm giving you, asking you a few questions which you can answer on the group, right? जो collective group है अपना, उस पे answer कर सकते हो definitely. First assumption, now understand assumption from the first part. First part, whenever I mention, that means the first slide. ठीक है? I won't mention paragraph and all, because many a times the paragraphs are to be broken. If it is a lengthy paragraph, it is to be broken and put onto 2 or 3 slides. So I'll be mentioning the slide. So slide 1 of the reading part, उसमें से एक assumption आएगा, ध्यान से पढ़ना, ध्यान से समझना. मैंने explain भी किया है, but now you need to word it. Inference is drawn from the first part. तो first side में से एक assumption का question आएगा, एक inference बनेगा. तो you need to come up simple question, what is the assumption of the author, and from that part of the paragraph, what is the inference that can be drawn out. You need to write it in your own words. बहुत ज्यादा टाइम नहीं लगाना है, पर उसमें से जो समझ में आए आप उतना लिख लो, no problem. At least participate, at least do. You never know, there might be chocolates around the corner. An argument of the author, complete wala. So I'm not giving it a slide name. It's a complete one. So give the thought process, understand the thought process of the author, and come up with what his argument is. सिर्फ 3-4 questions हैं, sorry. एक assumption, एक inference, एक conclusion, और एक argument. 4 questions, not much to ask for. ठीक है? 24 hours में आप कर सकते हैं, बिल्कुल. Thank you, and that's all for today. So stay logical and have a very logical day ahead. See you.